Need a presenter? Your Event Audio has you covered. Closed-circuit audio equipment with turnkey operation at your trade show booth, live event, or private event. YourEventAudio.com is the place to go. DJ services, MC talent, and a whole lot more. Check out YourEventAudio.com today.
Craving ideas to ignite your face-to-face marketing program? Join us at EXHIBITOR Live, the conference and exhibition for trade show and corporate event marketers in Nashville, February the 25th through the 28th. Dive into over 100 electrifying sessions and workshops led by industry rock stars, where you'll learn to skyrocket your ROI, master the art of creating experiences, and forge connections that will take your program and your career to the next level. Secure your spot now and turn your trade show dreams into reality at EXHIBITORLive.com. Welcome to the EXHIBITOR Now podcast for this February 23rd, 2024. It's the final edition of How We Used to Know It, or something to that effect. Things are changing here, and you're going to hear all about it today in today's show. I'm Mike Morrison, National Sales Director for WS Display and co-host of the show, as you can see on the screen. Mark Johnson joins me from Las Vegas in his home office, and this is the one. This is the show that when we've reached this pinnacle, we know that the next step, Mark, is we all take a flight or drive a car or somehow or another head up, in my case, up 75 to I-24 and roll into Nashville, Tennessee for EXHIBITOR Live Week, which happens starting this weekend and rolls into the further part of next week. Are you ready?
You know, I'm really not yet. I got to get going on that. I'm usually one of those people that pack days ahead of time, so I've got a few things kind of organized, but I will get ready by the end of today. I fly out tomorrow. We have events that are starting Saturday morning, so yeah, it's a full time with it. Mentally, yeah, I am getting ready. This is something that we've been talking about for a long period of time. Last year in Louisville, as we know, that was our first show, and we had some good successes. We had some missteps, and we've listened to a lot of people. And I think what people are going to see at the show, and you'll hear it with our interview with Kim, there's some great things going to happen this year. And I feel really good about the future of it for the next coming years. So I haven't been in Nashville in a long time. When was the last time you've been in Nashville, Mike?
Great question. I want to say 2 years ago it was client visits when I rolled up there, because Nashville's such an easy reach for me. It's a 3-hour drive right up the interstate, and met with some folks. I also went the time before that was during the pandemic, and that was a interesting anomaly of visits with people who I could visit with. Of course, it's let's call it a red state. It is what it is. So how people reacted to the pandemic restrictions are different across the United States. And of course, Tennessee was, while it is Nashville and it's a major metro area that kind of leans blue, and there were people recognizing masks, obviously, and limited in-person visits. There were still people out there doing their thing. So I was there during that time as well. But the Opryland Resort, never set foot in. So this will be a first time for that I'm looking forward to. Just got off the phone this morning with a client who lives in Nashville, and we were just chatting about all the things going on. And is coming to our seminar and everything on Monday morning and everything. And we're just like, yeah, the biggest problem, the only concern about, two concerns about, is age of the building, because it is an old building, and then the height of the ceilings, as we know in the trade show world. But I think we can adapt. I believe we can make it a good showing for everybody. Everybody I've talked to is excited, so it's time to get started, right?
Yeah, and again, we appreciate everybody's understanding. Louisville really was just thrown on us. That was the only option. And again, given the runway and what was available, there wasn't many to pick from. So Nashville was one of the cities that people want to go to. The Opryland, I hear you, and we're not excited about the height limitations. And some of the exhibitors have done a great job, accepting and expanding, or adjusting, I should say, to that. I will tell you going forward, those issues will not be in play for the next 3 years. We've got venues that are back to major convention centers. We've had time to be able to fit them into schedules and stuff like that. And as you heard in Kim's interview, I wasn't allowed to give any secrets away. So they'll announce that next week as they go forward with it. But yeah, for 25, 26, and 27, I think the industry and all of our customers going to the show will be extremely excited.
Absolutely looking forward to it. Just a couple of bullet points we'll talk about before we have this conversation with Kim Gishler, the strategic content officer at EXHIBITOR Group, as well as the assistant publisher for EXHIBITOR Magazine. Email scams and spam and fraud has always been a major issue for everyone in our industry. Legislative Action Day, who everybody here and in our industry have been a part of, has focused on that as a target to create more control of that. Recently, the ECA announced that the Exhibitions and Conferences Alliance applauded the Federal Trade Commission for finalizing anti-impersonation fraud. That rule came out this week. And with that said, I took a poll this week. It's one of the first ones we've done here at EXHIBITOR Now. And here are the results of that poll. We asked, what is the most aggravating spam and scam business emails you receive? We gave 4 options: hotel scams, email lists, useless products and services, and other subject matter. A lot of people, we appreciate you voting very quickly. Several hundred people actually gave us their responses, and 72% of those who responded said email lists. Those bogus email unaudited lists, non-audited lists were right at the top of the scale. 15%, oddly enough, were useless products and services that really don't even apply to their operations and organizations. 11% did say hotel scams, which is one of the big ones we're concerned with. And then 2% checked other. And we asked them, list out what you mean. Of course, they didn't. And I understand why, because once you put your name to something like that, kind of stays with you forever. But I think the big question is, while email lists are a big problem, and people get kind of drugged down this road mark of investing thousands of dollars for these email non-audited lists, as I've heard before, they're just email things thrown in a pot, and some of them are okay, some of them aren't. Of course, there are rules and laws against sending out unsolicited emails, but is that going to fall under this new law as to what are the parameters of that? It'll be yet to be seen as they begin to orchestrate implementing that.
My understanding is, we've talked to you and I both, to Tommy, this really gives the power to the Federal Trade Commission to really go after all of this and be a little more aggressive with those offenders. And I think across the board, you're going to see some of that be in effect, because there will be some penalties that come with this area. And I think we've talked about it with AI and fake news and all the stuff that's going forward with it. We need more of this protection, because the people that are bilking people out of money, out of opportunities, all the scams that go into it, it's a part of our future. It's just an easy way for criminals to operate. And the sooner that they get they know they can get caught, and then there's penalties involved, then you'll see some of those changes, I think, make place. But this is one of the things, we talk about going to Capitol Hill with Tommy and the group. This is a good thing that we're making some progress on. I know there's many initiatives, but I got a couple even this year. I got more than a couple, but there's a couple that we reached out for Exhibitor that they were selling our list, and it was like, oh, hey, I'd love to get that. How do I get that? Show me your list and that stuff. And when you push them a little bit, they just vanish. So hopefully we can continue to get better for the industry, because it's just going to be part of everything going forward, and it's unfortunate. But
it
good work
is.
to Tommy.
Absolutely. And I've probably gotten a dozen this week because in my email, if I get a spam email, it gets pushed to the top so that I could check to see if it actually is spam. And you're right. The majority of those email list emails I've gotten this week were for Exhibitor Live. It's amazing how sensitive the timing is when they come out, and people it's so easy to take advantage of that, but it really is not a good way to go. The U.S. Department of Labor on Tuesday issued a final rule that will force companies to treat some workers as employees rather than less expensive independent contractors in a move that has riled up a lot of business groups, and most likely we'll see some legal challenges come up. The rule is widely expected to increase labor costs for businesses in industries that rely on contractor labor and freelancers, as ours does, such as trucking, manufacturing, healthcare, and of course, those app-based gig services. Things were real blurry, Mark, here on the front end before this, and now it's going to even be a little more blurry and confusing, in my opinion.
Yeah, again, I have a personal assessment or belief that we're chasing a couple of bad eggs, and you're really creating a bigger problem by going forward with this. Because I know a lot of people that have semi-retired and they're the Uber drivers or Lyft drivers and that, and they like what they have, and they aren't doing it as a full-time career. But if you go and instill some of these legislations, when you put some of those in place, the companies are going to have to step back and go, okay, we can afford to do X or we cannot. And personally, I know we've got some people that it'll affect us and some of the contract workers that we use, and you just won't use them anymore. Or you'll have to do something else from a higher cost perspective. And sometimes really good people get hurt in this process, and I feel for them. So it's unfortunate. I know there is a small issue, then solve it a different way. But sometimes this massive legislation isn't the way to go. And again, we talked about that with Tommy. Sometimes these states come in to solve a problem, and they create a bigger issue with what they're trying to put in for the rules and regulations. So
it is a election year, and of course, we don't try not to talk about politics, but it is amazing how some of this stuff does tend to lean one direction or the other. And as we always do, seemingly on an election year, let's just get to it, find out how we're going to come out, and then move forward from there, because it's some of the drama that leads up to that is kind of not bearable, actually. So the only other thing I'll add before we get into our interview with Kim Gishler today is a big announcement came out this morning that over 70,000 pinpoint outages for AT&T across the nation in a lot of the big metropolitan areas, including Atlanta, where I'm at, Los Angeles, Houston, several others that, man, here's that technology thing again. I mean, everybody lives. Mine's over here on my side, my cell phone. I mean, without it, that's your heartbeat. And now you got these outages. That's crazy, Mark.
yeah, and I'm an AT&T customer, so my team was checking in. Hey, are you okay? Are you able? And I'm like, yeah, we're talking on the phone. We're talking on AT&T. So it hasn't affected Vegas with it yet. But it is. The bigger theory and that you're discussing with it is we are so reliant on technology. And when it goes away, we're trying to just do a little house project here in Vegas, and we're highly suspicious that we're going to lose our internet. Okay, well, I don't get TV or sports for a couple of days, but that's not it. It's all this Wi-Fi that we all work under. And where am I going to have to do my work if I don't have that? Well, they'll be out here in an hour, 2 days or whatever. I can't go without that. So it's a super blessing. It's made us highly effective, more efficient, but at the same time, it does really create some issues with the reliance on it. So we got to make sure we have better backups, fail safes, what are other redundancy plans that really take care of things for us. So we'll see how it goes.
Crazy times for sure. It is crazy times for EXHIBITOR Group as we get ready for EXHIBITOR Live starting on this weekend and rolling into next week. And part of our discussion for this week's show is with Kim Gishler, as we mentioned her name a couple of times before now. She is the Strategic Content Officer for EXHIBITOR Group and also the Assistant Publisher for EXHIBITOR Magazine. Mark and I sat down and chatted with her as we get ready to make some changes here on our podcast, and then a lot of other changes coming down the line for EXHIBITOR Group. So let's take a quick time out and talk with Kim here on the EXHIBITOR Now podcast. It comes up next after this. Attention, trade show and event marketing professionals. Are you ready to take your face-to-face marketing expertise to the next level? Join more than 3,000 candidates currently enrolled in EXHIBITOR Group's Certified Trade Show Marketer Program. CTSM is corporate America's top source of the industry's best trade show and corporate event training. CTSM certified trade show marketers enjoy expanded career opportunities,
greater respect and authority in their organizations, and earn higher salaries than their acronym-free peers. Learn more, earn more. Visit ctsm.com today.
Welcome back to EXHIBITOR Now. And this is one that we prefaced last week, an interview that we're really looking forward to. I'll just term it as the beginning of the change. It's a new life for the EXHIBITOR Group, EXHIBITOR Magazine, EXHIBITOR Live, and specifically EXHIBITOR Now. There are going to be some changes in all of those aspects starting next week with our show coming to Nashville, Tennessee. Of course, it's at the Opryland Resort. We're looking forward to seeing you there. And everybody, as you can see there, is excited and shaking because there are a lot of Red Bulls being downed and a lot of energy drinks and whatever it takes to get up right now because you can't be sleeping. But let's have a little what I've termed as a fireside chat with the new Chief Content Strategist for EXHIBITOR Group, as well as the Assistant Publisher of the magazine, EXHIBITOR Magazine, and that's Kim Gishler. Joins us now with Mark, as usual, Mark Johnson, as you tell there, from Las Vegas. Mark, what have you got as far as questions for Kim? And let's have this chat.
Yeah, well, first of all, this is one that I've been anticipating. Besides Charles, Kim is one of my favorite people to talk to. And I know we give a lot of credit and kudos to David, and David's done a fabulous job leading the team back. But he actually, what I give him credit for is bringing Kim on, Monica on, and the team in place. But Kim, your experience and your expertise really is what's changing a lot of things for the company. David and the team does a great job with it, but your leadership in this content and where we really want to go, I am so excited and so grateful that you're part of the team. So Juan, welcome to the show again.
Thank you.
How is your week going? I know it's now, as Mike's saying, it's crunch time. So the team's working 24/7 in the last minute details. So,
it has been an interesting, well, it's really fun. I mean, I love this. I this is my whole life. But I just got off a meeting earlier and I said, this is when you start herding the cats because everyone, when they get on site, they just they don't read anything anymore. So we just kind of have to push them in the right direction and make sure they're going the right direction. Look, we're basically a startup. I mean, we've got a lot of people, and I commend this group as a whole because, everyone is just pitching in to make this the best that it can be. And we've said it's not going to be perfect. We said it's not going to be, it's not what it was. But boy, new energy, new group of people, fun and attentive, and really, really want to make everyone feel like they're part of this big community that we've been wanting to do for so long. So I'm excited. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
well, one of the words that you keep using, and it is really dear to you, I know it's part of your DNA, is that community. You really drive a lot of community, and there's a lot of aspects and work that you're doing in that area. And that is really what we're trying to embrace. So I appreciate you bringing that up. And I do sense that it is a whole new day and there's a lot of changes we've made. Again, a lot of credit to Dee and the group that they've done, the predecessors and what they put together. COVID really knocked the heck out of this organization, but it's time for us to rebuild, and you guys are doing a fabulous job. So yeah, I'm excited about Live, and let's stay there for a minute. So are you okay with the numbers? How are you feeling about the event? What's going on right now?
Well, I'm, past experience, I'm a big numbers person. I love, I want the audience, and for us to be totally transparent, we're doing really, really well. I mean, we're not going to be, this is rebuilding again. We're not going to be what we were, last year, the year before, but I'm not looking back anymore. And we're saying, this is what we're doing. This is the data point now. We're moving forward. The numbers are looking great. The ratios, and that's where I really, my heart song of the ratios are looking fabulous. And I say ratios, meaning that the client side event marketer, client side planner, marketer coming in with the CTSM versus the supplier side, exhibit house, things like that. So that's my ratios. That's what I guide towards. Yeah. And, I am thrilled to say that, we've got over 40%, 45+% in new attendees on the CTSM side alone, which is amazing. And I'm excited because as we talk about community, as we talk about how they're learning, what they're going after, this is where I start, working with Monica and having a great time at, because we're seeing how we can build all these people together, how we can start those conversations to see what we can grow and move forward, and the trends and what they're seeing out there, and really having those conversations on site, because nothing beats face to face. I mean, we can have the webinars, we can do whatever we want, but having that interaction face to face with these attendees is, you just can't. I can't stress enough how much I love that. So I think we just need to have those extra touches, and it's looking great. We've really done a great job, I think, with Lauren and all the exhibitor side, and making them feel special and heard, and what we're doing on the show site for that. I think Mike can contest with some of that too. And this is the time for us to sit back, listen, implement what we can, listen some more, and make it better for next year and the year after and the year after. So it's stepping. We can't do everything right now. We just have to keep moving to the right place.
Well, and that's one thing I want to make sure our listeners hear. You have done a fabulous job with the team, actually looking out multiple years. And we're going to be announcing in Nashville our next 3-year sites. Everything that we've got. I know everything that we've got in place.
Don't you start getting on me on that one.
We've winked to it, but the point with it I'm making, though, is you've got the foresight, you've got the planning in place, that we really do have the next 3 years laid out. It is the opportunity to keep adding major additions, updates, and improvements as we go forward. So it's a great time. It's an exciting time with what's going on with that. And yeah, there's a lot of neat programs that are being added with the education. You and Monica and the team are doing a fabulous job with not only CTSM, but we're finalizing a deal right now with EDPA to actually have their own education. So it'll be a CTSM-like program, but for the supplier side. And excited to see where that's going. And it's a neat partnership that we're moving forward with that one. All right, let's take a step back and let's do the magazine. I know you and Emily are working hard on that. So give us a little bit of an update on what you see, the highlights, where's it going, some big talking points that you want to make sure we cover with the magazine going forward.
Gosh, I hope I compliment what she said a few weeks ago. So I hope she's going to keep me honest here. Emily's fabulous, and we have with Charles, a great team, and a lot of freelancers that are coming in to help us out, revolving the magazine. We're trying to make it more forward thinking, more strategic, more visionary. She's got a lot of amazing ideas that she's been wanting to do for a long time. And so we're trying to implement that, trying to be a little bit more corporate marketers coming in and discussing, kind of with my background, what they're doing, and how some great case studies, and kind of evolving that realm of everything. More tech of the future, more AI, kind of what really just a lot of things that we're trying to do, and revamping some of the awards programs and making those kind of more streamlined in the future as well. So I think you're going to see a lot of new, innovative, fun articles, and just I want them to enjoy what they're writing about, and to really keep thinking what's next. And I think they're doing a really great job in doing that. And Charles, of course, always knows everything that's going on. So having it next week, we're going to be at live. They're going to talk to a lot of people, have a lot of great, ideas coming back from that. Now we just have to compile all those, and not get too overwhelmed with what we're doing, and really streamline it. And that's, again, going into baby steps, what we're doing for the rest of this year, and then moving on to next year. But I'm excited about it. I think they're on the right path to make this a great publication.
Yeah, and I know Emily's got some great plans, and I was part of the strategic planning with them this year. There's a lot of neat stuff coming. I'm really excited about what you and the team are putting together. Again, for our listeners, it's really important, I think, for them to hear that you guys, David and you, have reached out to some of the major shows, SHOT Show and such like that, and getting our name on all of their attendees, trade show managers and the marketers and stuff that go with it. So our magazine is now starting to be distributed even further out there, new opportunities that will continue to expand. So from a supplier side, I think that's great. That just gives them more opportunities to talk to their end customer. And then the corporate marketer at the end, to your point on what the content is, there's a lot of information coming on the changes that you're looking to make. So it's much more marketable or marketing focused.
And then, it's no fault of anyone's. It's I think we have a great bucket that we've been doing for a long time, but I think there's no reason to keep doing that bucket, but expanding it a lot. And there's a lot to talk about. So it's just knowing how to do it and doing it the right way. So that's what we're working on. It's fun.
Yeah. All right, so we've got EXHIBITOR Magazine, we've got EXHIBITOR Live. What's in store for EXHIBITOR Now, the podcast here?
Well, Mike and with the two of us are going to put some fun things together. We're going to do a little bantering. Still bitter about the Super Bowl, Mike, but we're going to move on from that. But I brought that up again. I'm a 49ers fan, so I was a little bitter about that. But we're moving on. It's another opportunity to bring new blood, new people in, to have some really fun, innovative conversations. And that's what we're trying to do. So we're going to bring in some corporate event marketers. We're going to bring in some different companies, having those conversations, but also bringing in some associations that we love to talk to with EIC, and some companies that can help us out on data analytics and sponsorships and how to sell correctly. So I think that's a lot of new ideas. I want to make it more organic, more bantering. Of course, we're doing that right now, so that's good. But it should be a conversation. It should be having fun. People will want to listen to it. So I think there's a little bit of going back and forth, but mostly, we're just going to have fun. And that's what it should be. This industry gets so serious so fast. And there's a lot of pressure on all of us to do a lot of things. But I think there's a great opportunity for this to be very thought-provoking. However, how you can implement some of these things in your day-to-day life and also in your future, and where to get some of that help that you might need, that you might not have thought about with some of these conversations that we have. It could be something like growth, personal growth, but it can also be how to, manage your manager, or, how to sell up. Mike, I think you and I can have a lot of fun with this and grow it and have a good time in the process, even though, what I said before.
Well, thank you. Some of us have gotten over the Super Bowl. Others have not. I
clearly have not.
No. And I've got, if you really want it, I do have your fumbler's personal cell phone number. You can reach out to him. So, but we'll keep that for future reference. Anyways, what I really want to say again through the process is it's content. It's really, when we started this EXHIBITOR Now podcast, and Mike and I wanted through it, we both were committed to how can we really lead the industry in content? How can we be the place to go? And Mike and I have some great experience, but mine is much more on the supplier area and some of the association and experience with my clients who are the CTSM marketers and the people coming through the program. But you really live it, and you've had that area, and that's the content we're really looking to expand and add to it. So our listeners get all sides of it. They get to hear from the end prospect, the end marketer, what works on shows, what's not working on shows, what are they looking for, how do they become more successful, all of that you'll bring. So I'm excited about it. I think I've tried to do what I can to help manage the transition, but really you guys are ideal for it. I'm here. I will be on the phone or on the podcast when you need me, but obviously you guys bring a whole different perspective, and I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's a great opportunity to, again, evolving. You've amazing job over the past year plus to do it, but I think this is a great opportunity to change kind of the vibe a little bit and bring in some new people with new experiences and new audiences that can go with this. So it's growing a brand that is already loved, but making it more expansive, so to speak. But we're going to have some fun. I'm looking forward to it because there's a lot of things we can talk about. And I think as we move on, I love the conversation piece, and I love just, maybe solving for a problem. It could be that easy. And asking our listeners, what do they want to hear? Who would they like to have on to talk about or to talk with, and opening that up. So I think there's a lot of great opportunity out there, and I'm excited about it. It'll be a lot of fun. And we're going to start this off. Are we going to start this off next week, Mike, or are we going to wait until after live? I think we're going to wait till after live, aren't we?
Well, this is the final show before live. The week after is actually live in our rearview mirror. So you and I will start next week with this transition. I will say this, and I don't want to interrupt, Mark, because I'm sure you got another question, sure. But I on this subject, it's an interesting anomaly, right? Normally, your co-host would be most likely a employee of EXHIBITOR Group. So I'm not. So I come in with a different perspective. I tend to drive the bus. That's kind of what I've done for 7 years in this podcast realm. I just kind of transition and set it up, and then you guys knock them down, and then kind of throw in a tag at the end. I would like to be a little more involved in that discussionary aspect because I want to learn. That if you go back to my earlier podcast interviews, Mike, why did you even start this besides your radio background? I know a lot about aluminum extrusion. I know a lot about silicone edge graphics and supply side, but I don't know the other sides of it as well as I should. So my driving force was to learn, to educate myself as I get older and deeper in this industry. And I'm sure if I'm in that position, and as a lot of our other listeners are in that same position, and they want to learn, they want to take away something at every episode that I can say, I didn't know that. And I can appreciate the content that EXHIBITOR Now is putting out there. We don't want to be a variety show.
No.
I was accused of that recently. Fine. Everybody has an opinion. But we do want to, and I like that. I love Kim. I haven't even met her face to face yet. What I love about Kim is that she's got this spunk about her. She's got the gumption to talk about something. Gumption, that's a Southern word.
I understood it.
You understood? Good. We're good. I mean, but let's have these discussions. And Mark and I have had them. And I like the fact he's still going to be around and available. But I do like your ideas about let's put out there a product that people can take away 1, 2, 3, or 4 different things that they can say, I didn't know about. So I'll stop there.
I'm a big proponent on the takeaway thing. So if I had 1 or 2 or 3 things I want you to take away from this is what it's going to be. And I think every speaker, anything you do, you should have one highlighted thing that you're going to be wanting to take away from. So I'm going to switch this a little bit to you, Mr. Mark. I'm going to ask you, what have you learned over the last year doing all these?
Oh, I've learned a ton. I don't know if people realize the amount of work this is. I mean, Mike's done a fabulous job every week putting together the research and the talking points and the stuff going with it. And I'm like, wow, my plate is full on schedules. I'm booked solid today, as every day it seems to be, back-to-back meetings and such. So for him to be able to do all that with his busy schedule, each week I learned something as Mike puts together. And I'm like, gee, I didn't know that. Okay. And I was operating with my clients and the supplier side. I really wasn't as deeply involved with the associations as we've now gotten to with the breadth of them. EDPA, yes, as a past president, have gone through that. But some of these other ones now, just to get to meet them and be a part of it and feel good about the fact that we're really now doing something for the industry, myself and my team and our companies. We really, as we went and presented why I bought the company years ago, or a couple of years ago at EDPA, I just couldn't let it go. I wanted to do something as a legacy. I'm now living on the 5th tee box of Las Vegas Country Club, but in life, I'm probably realistically on hole 15. So I don't have many holes left in life. and I wanted to go out with a legacy. What can we do that we can all feel proud of as part of the Star organization? And I've learned to do that, and I've really embraced that, and I've enjoyed that aspect of it. And then I've gotten to meet you and spend more time with you, David, Monica, a whole different group of people that I have never been able to. And yeah, we keep blowing Emily and Charles' horn. They're fabulous. I want to be Charles in my next life. My gosh, what this guy
We
gets
all want
to
to be
do and
Charles
stuff
in our
like.
next life.
Yeah. I get done interviewing him and I'm like, I'm an idiot. I want to be more articulate like he is.
You want
all
to
the stuff
find
that goes with it.
you want to find a bigger word than he does, than he
Oh my
uses.
gosh.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
No, I have to actually, a funny story about that on another time. But yes.
I want
Okay,
Charles.
well,
I want Charles's hair. That's what I want. I
Oh.
want thick hair. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. There's a lot of things that, Charles is just spot on. So, no, it's been many things to answer your question that I've learned. A lot about how deep this industry really is, the other associations, and the different tidbits throughout it. It's been very enjoyable. I've enjoyed my time with Mike. And as we were going through it, and my schedule is crazy, my team's been pushing, how do you get out of it? How do you get out of this? I'm like, I don't want to get out of this. This is fun. I enjoy doing what we're doing and how the process continues. But I am very excited about what you two are going to bring to it. Mike and I talked when we started this. This was the vision we had in the beginning. How do we really create this content that is that informative, that's that entertaining? And it's a casual conversation as you're going with too. It's not a presentation. And the engaging part, how do we get our audience to really participate and be a part of the thing? Tell us where they want us to go. What content do they need? But, at Live, we have a chance to actually, last year, we interviewed a lot of the CTSM people as we went forward. That was really enjoyable. That insight was incredible talking to them. So I've learned a lot about it, and I'm excited about what you guys are going to do. And I'm looking forward to the invites when you need me back on the mic.
It goes back. I go back to community all the time, but when you start listening to the people that you're selling to, not selling to, but trying to organize a educational curriculum for and moving forward, like Monica's doing, and trying to see how she can revamp all this. You constantly are evolving, and that's what we want to do. And I go back to community all the time, because when you start listening and you bring these people in, you make them feel that they're part of a quote unquote family or whatever, then you get a lot more response, feedback, and support. And that's what we are needing, and that's what we want, and that's what we're striving for. And we're hoping that it keeps accumulating year over year, that we get that. The other thing we're doing the awards ceremony. So we have the awards ceremony, the closing party awards ceremony on Wednesday night. So we hope everyone comes. We're going to acknowledge the CTSM grads and give out the Fab 40 awards and the other best of show, things like that. So we have great entertainment planned, and it's one evening where, Mark, you are off the hook. You can just relax and mingle with your peeps and not have to worry about anything. So, but I did want to mention that. So I hope people stay for that, because it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've been trying to highlight that to make sure two things. One, those activations have been separate in the past. And the CTSM graduation along with the awards. And I really feel from talking to the people this last year, there's a huge value for bringing those together. The CTSM, graduates, they now get to see who the best of the show is, and recognize either their partner or selecting a partner based on some of the performance that goes on there. I think that's great. And then the same thing with suppliers. Now they get a chance to actually meet and congratulate those who are doing their graduation. So I think it's great. We've talked about people sticking around. I'm looking forward to that and see. Yeah, I have to be honest. I'm a little anxious about next week, because I'm not that busy as I'm usually, it's one thing to another. And now you've got you and David and Monica and Lauren and Gibbs and everybody who's managing stuff. And I'm kind of like, wow, this is going to be a different experience. I get to help and support wherever you need it, but I'm not driving the bus in this case. I'm just a passenger along the way, and I'm going to support you guys wherever I can. But it's a new thing for me, so I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate what you guys do.
It's a growth experience.
Totally.
There.
Okay. Okay.
Well, get your boots because in our booth, 1135, we're having line dance instruction 6 times during the show. So I want to make sure you're both there to participate and learn the most recent line dances from some professionals there. Kim shaking her head like not a chance.
No, I'll do it. Yes, I will be there. If Mark is there, I will be there.
There will be video.
I'm going to need to go to
We'll-
all 6 to be able to learn it. It'll take me 6 just to figure out the basic move. I wish I had more. I loved dancing growing up, but just haven't done it in a while. So I'm looking forward to it.
Oh,
The
no,
guy
you're not
holds-
practicing. If I'm not practicing, you're not practicing, and we're going to go in there.
It'll be fun. Be sure to come by. And we're also going to, one last thing, and we'll wrap it up, is there will be a site in the square for Kim and I, Mark and I, and David and I, and whoever else and I, because I have to drive that bus, remember, you have to have a driver, to talk about, talk to, and talk with our guests at Exhibitor Live. Maybe you have a desire to do a little podcasting yourself. Maybe you'll stop by and tell your story. Maybe you can tap me on the shoulder, tap one of us at Exhibitor Live. Let us know that you have an interest in being on the show, because that's what it's all about moving forward. Speaking of moving forward, take a quick break, come back and wrap things up after this.
Are you searching for trade show and event products and services? Find It on Exhibitor Exchange is your complete buyer's guide to trade show exhibiting and events, featuring the trade show industry's top exhibit and display providers. Find It on Exhibitor Exchange is the industry's best shopping and commerce resource for buyers and sellers of exhibit and event products and services. Reaching 20,000 exhibit and event buyers in every print issue of EXHIBITOR Magazine, and 140,000 exhibit and event buyers online each year. Search the listings or list your company today. Learn more at exhibitoronline.com/findit.
Mike, I think I've been very clear. I love Kim. What a great addition to the team. She's done a fabulous job with bringing the team together and our vision going forward with our content. As we've talked about in earlier parts of it, there's a lot of changes coming, all for the better. Exhibitor's done a great job for the years, and it's been such a staple for our industry. And our commitment is to only continue to grow and develop that. I really want to thank you. You've done a fabulous job with this podcast, as you've done for years. And I really appreciate you including me in it. And I'm looking forward to still being a part of it. But we do feel that it is time to step it up and make sure that Exhibitor owns the content, and that Kim will work with you to really continue to drive what's topics in the industry, not only for the suppliers and the supporting network of it, but our CTSM participants, the people coming in brand new to this industry, and the veterans. And there's a lot of news that are coming out from live this week, or you'll hear about what's going on with some new groups of higher level, C-level we're bringing into it, which I think is going to only improve the industry. But all of that is going to drive this additional content. And Kim's got a lot on her plate where she's driving a lot of things. But with her and Monica, who heads up the education, obviously working with David Dubois as they're heading to all of the things going on. Great interview, great person, a great future for Exhibitor Now. And again, I'm honored to be just a part of it. And I look forward to being a part of the podcast when you guys are when I'm available, or I should say, when you guys need me, I'll be available.
So we didn't come right out and directly say it, but Kim and I will be co-hosting the show starting next week. And it's not a real big deal, but the fact of the matter is Mark Johnson is the owner of several companies. And when you're in that position and trying to pull him into a schedule of things, it gets to be a little challenging. And I think it's a good move. I also, as I said in the interview, I love Kim Gishler, and I've never met her yet. I've just seen her spunk, her energy, what she does bring to the table, and her idea of, okay, it's time for changes and formats and bite-sized nuggets and concise content. And that's what we're going to push for. I like the idea of creating new aspects of programming that, because everything right now is short attention spans. Everybody knows that. I've already lost half of you already just in that little diatribe. So, can we focus on CTSM for a quick minute? Can we bring a This is your point of exhibiting, key point of strategy that you could take away, and AI and all of these experts that can come in and talk with that. I think that's going to be big for us moving forward for our show, and our listeners and viewers will appreciate that. One thing, as we get ready to wrap this up, we did notice, you and I were off mic talking about, I noticed it this morning, that when I opened up the Captello app for the show, that apparently there is a bug on that, because if you click on a item like the exhibitor list or something about the map or what have you, the app shuts down and it gives you a message saying you can refresh the app or update it as soon as the developer makes a correction, something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. So I've advised Stephanie Gibbs and the team there to get with them, and they'll fix that, I'm sure, before we get started and everybody rolls into Nashville. So if you see that happen, they are aware of that. Other than that, I think it's just time, Mark, to pack up, roll out, and get this thing started.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And you're right. It's now you're going to load up the car and start heading that way. I got to pack up a suitcase. You get to these things, there's a lot of, the devil's in the details. So there's a lot of work that the team is doing between now and, Wednesday night when we shut it down. There's just a lot of last minute updates that keep moving with that. But they're doing a great job. I think they've done as much proactive as they can. App breakdowns and things like that are going to happen. AT&T not working in the area. Who knows what'll develop for us as we go. There's always breakdowns in the world, but it's just how you deal with it and move forward with it. But we're looking forward to a great show. I'm looking forward to having some great conversations with a lot of people next week. And like I said, we've got a few surprises that I think will entertain and educate people. And we're looking forward to the future. And I really do appreciate your support and that of the whole industry as we continue to grow and develop this.
It's Exhibitor Live. It's the 2024 version of it. We start in just a couple of days. So get ready, as I look like one of those Chevy Chase vacation movies, as I load up the station wagon and drive up to Nashville with all of my stuff. And we'll see you in Nashville from the Exhibitor Now podcast.
And remember,
the EXHIBITOR Now podcast. Give us 30 minutes, and we'll give you everything you need to know now.